Welcome to the Billy Ho Forecast Show. Please subscribe and like the video. Remember, the more you share, the bigger we grow. Now, let's go! Hello, Billy Ho here. Today we're going to preview this year's PGA Championship at Southern Hills Country Club. In today's show, we're going to dive into Southern Hills Golf Course and give you a little preview on what it's going to look like. And we're going to touch on some skills needed. And we're going to talk about a few players that I like early on. Southern Hills is going to play at a lengthy 7,556 yards and a par 70. It features challenging doglegs, runoffs into creeks, hazards, and the Bermuda fairways will be firm and fast. And it also has very, very small bent grass greens, and those greens will be rolled down a la U.S. Open style, where the ball will repel away from the middle of the green. And the edges are shaved down, like I said, to allow mishit approach shots to just completely run off the back of the green and challenge these pros to get up and down. Also, these greens are going to be guarded by anywhere from 2 to 4 bunkers on almost every hole. In addition to those bunkers, there are also water trouble looming on certain holes on the approach, and 9 to 10 holes altogether where either off the tee or on approach water is in play. The two par fives are pretty beastly. They are number 5, which plays at 656 yards, and it is a difficult tee shot, leaving most likely a layup on your second. Now, number 13 is a 632-yard par 5, and it is a little bit more wide open off the tee, so you can get one out there and likely with a good drive have a shot at getting home in two. But you have to be careful on that hole because there's 2 gigantic ponds right in front of the green guarding that one. And Southern Hills is by far the toughest course I've seen the PGA play. I guess last year when Phil won was pretty tough, 6 under, but this one looks straight up. Of course, they played several U.S. Opens here, so obviously U.S. Open style course. So I don't see much over par winning this thing. Well, before we jump into skill set and players, it's a little bit too early to talk weather, but it's going to be hot, dry, and windy is what it looks like for the foreseeable future. There should be a message running across the bottom of the screen giving you a little bit more detailed analysis. The skill set is not going to be for the weak minded, and patience is going to be a key this year, obviously. And I listed across here the front on my screen share for Fantasy National where these guys are going to need their best efforts. Strokes gained off the tee, obviously, but I put good drives in because you're going to have to do a little bit of scrambling to a lot of scrambling, depending on how you're playing. Ball striking and mixed with approach around the green. And I did a total tee to green and threw in just some general proximity. I don't like those buckets because you can't figure them out. You know, the guy can play great from 150 to 175, but then, you know, he's got a 148 shot in and he's suddenly not good at that shot. So I don't like those numbers because they overlap too much and they're noisy to me. 450 to 500 is going to be your most par 4s. And I threw in putting from 5 to 10 feet and from 10 to 15 feet because that's going to be your par saving and your birdie making distances. So I threw those in there. More on skill sets, actually. What I wanted to mention was greens gained is going to be a main key stat. And you're going to really need to be creative around the green. You're going to see some Texas wedges, AKA putters around the green. And, it's going to be firm and fast bent greens. And you're going to have to be careful with your lag putting because you could legit run the ball by almost off the green, and then you're in real trouble. So the players, we all know who the best players in this field are. And I wanted to take just a little bit of a different approach. And some of these guys I'm going to mention are elite players, but I think they're also good value. So that's kind of what I was shooting for, was good value. So let's get started on that. We're going to go with Shane Lowry, ranking second in the model. He's not elite off the tee, but he's got good drives, so he's accurate and he's long enough. But fifth in approach is what I like the most. And he's eighth in tee to green, so he's solid enough around the green. And he's also from Ireland, so he's used to playing link style golf where you'd have shaved greens that you can putt from. And he's also really, really good from 450 to 500. And he's solid in both categories in putting. So I like that. The next guy I wanted to mention was Sadecki down here at, 9,200. We're going to revamp this. We'll get to Decky right here. Now he's 29th in the model, but that's a good price. And he seems clear of the neck issues obviously by his play at Byron Nelson. And, 29th in the model is largely due to the putting issues. And, but what I like about him is he thrives in tough conditions. And judging by, and I'll take you back to the 2020 BMW where he came in third. And that was the year that Rahm had that big playoff battle with DJ, and they were going back and forth. Well, Decky finished third in that tournament. And that tournament was held at Olympia Fields, which also plays a par 70, played very difficult, firm and fast bent greens. So I kind of like Decky in that aspect. Now, Patrick Cantlay's another one. He's third in the model. And he's at a real nice price, 9,100 for an elite type player. I mean, he did win the FedEx last year. And you can say what you want. He would have been second at the Memorial behind Rahm. That still would have been a hell of a finish. And I'm pretty sure you get quite a few FedEx points for that. Now, the rest of these categories, he's pretty damn solid in. He's ninth overall off the tee, and he's not terrible on good drives or accuracy. 13th in the ball striking. Around the green, he's really improved his game on. He's excellent with sand saves. Tee to green, fourth. Number one from 450 to 500. And he's decently solid enough. He's good from 5 to 10 feet. And all right, 10 to 15. Not everybody can, knock him in. The difference between 76 and 56 is not that much. Next guy I wanted to mention at 8,600, Daniel Berger, 13th in the model. And he's decently long, good drives, seventh. And what I like about him is he's good on these par 70 courses. Shout out Big Daddy Gator 12 stealing my thunder in the Discord. He mentioned the same thing, but that's exactly what I thought by his wins at St. Jude and his win at Charles Schwab, par 70 courses. Number one in approach, and this is all over the last 50 rounds of golf. Strokes gained around the green. He's a solid 20th. 30th in proximity. Now he's struggled with the putter on occasion, but he's not terrible on bent. So I'm going to let that slide a little bit on the putter because, that's the most volatile stat that we have. But I also like Daniel Berger, and, people bring up apex ball flight, and that's all well and good. I very, very rarely look at that. But when it's going to be windy and it's going to be a hell of a lot more gusty than I thought originally. So we're talking maybe 30-mile-an-hour gusts, and he's got the lowest so far apex ball flight in the PGA. Keep that in mind. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about him, but Neiman's having a great week at Byron Nelson, and I love him on bent grass, and he's solid across the board. That's a freebie. The next guy I wanted to mention was Louis Ustasen, Usti, and we haven't seen Usti since he withdrew from the Masters, I believe after his first round of golf, and he's ninth in the model. I believe he's going to be fine as far as the back's concerned. He's always a risk, but he usually shows up for majors. That's why it was kind of shocking that he did bow out from the Masters. But ninth in the model, 27th in good drives. His approach game, which is what he's known for, sweet swinging Louis, has not been the best. But I'm hoping he's been working on that the last few weeks. And I'm hoping people are going to not play him because of the withdrawal factor and the fact that he screwed a lot of people over at the Masters. So pretty solid putting wise, 450 to 500 proximity. And he shows up in majors. I believe, I'm sorry. His third place finish at the 2021 US Open at Winged Foot can be a comp course to this, as it was also a par 70 with firm and fast bent grass greens. Now, the next guy, Jason Day. This one scares me a lot, and it might bite me on the ass, and I don't even know if I'm going to play him, but he's been so good the last few weeks. I thought I'd mention him. The irons have been really, really good. He seems to be putting just fine. And we know he is known to be a good putter, and his off the tee game is long enough, and it's not super wild. And he's no stranger to top 5 finishes in major championships. Oh, and by the way, he has won a PGA championship. So I might be tempted. Now, a couple more guys, and I'm going to jump down here because I wanted to fish around a little bit. Aaron Wise has obviously been playing really good the last few weeks, finally finding the putter. Of course, he's had his struggles with the putter, but at last 50 rounds, 6th in 15 to or 10 to 15 feet. That's birdie range. That's why he scores so well on DK when he makes cuts. 10th in proximity, 14th tee to green. This is all over the last 50 rounds, which is basically almost a year of golf. Takes you back to at least this time last year. And off the tee, he hits it long, and he's not inaccurate. He's 10th in the model for a 6,800 guy. That's crazy. And of course, the other guy playing really, really well, 8th in the model this week at Byron Nelson, Mito Pereira. I'll go ahead and finish it up with him. He's probably going to be really popular, but I needed to mention him just because he ranks so highly in the model at such a cheap price. He's easily past that back injury, obviously, that knocked him out of the Zurich. I saw the interview with him, and he said he just needed a little bit of extra work. He could have been good to go at Wells Fargo, but an extra week to get everything 100%. So, liking Mito, and he's ranking solid across the board. Top 25 and top 15s in all the ball striking approach categories, tee to green. He is a little bit scary around the green, and sometimes the putter can lead him astray. So, and big time, he actually has only one major under his belt. He missed the cut at the US Open, I believe, last year. So major experience lacking. Take that into account. I always do. All right, and that's going to do it for the preview. Check out the link in the description of that drone flyover for Southern Hills from Golf Digest. It's really good. It completely breaks down each hole, how it's played. It talks a lot about the redesigns, what they wanted to do, because they've taken out a lot of trees and they've moved stuff around. They're taking it back old school and moved some bunkers around, deepened the bunkers. And it's really, really neat videos. Take a look at that. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. Subscribers are going up, so that's good. I appreciate all you guys, really. All my boys in the Discord. Lights out job, guys. We always keep it light, but we always take our golf very seriously. And be on the lookout. I'm going to have another video early next week, and it's going to feature my special guest, the DFS chef, David, is going to join me again. He joined me a couple weeks ago, and we had a pretty good little video together, and it was on the fly. So maybe we'll have a little bit more to offer you this time around. So until that video drops, peace.